So let's knock one of these guys down a peg, huh?
Yeah, after this match, there will be one truly undefeated player, if we don't count the player with the draw.
Yeah.
And both players on Abzan.
Yeah. So that was a highly contested wedge.
Yeah, I believe there's
Sharp
at least, I
wedge.
was looking through all the deck lists, there's at least 3 Abzan drafters in this pod, which is really, really interesting because kind of coming into this, at least when I was talking to some of the Denver locals here, including Luis and others, they weren't super high on Abzan. They liked it a little bit less than Sultai or Temur as the other green variants. And so it's a little bit interesting to see that 3 players here all chose to play Abzan in this pod.
I'm guessing the reasoning being, a lot less card draw, a lot less permission spells.
Yeah, and the pro players tend to really love value.
Yes.
So if you can't draw cards, what are you doing with your life?
Playing against a Narset, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
So, pretty nice curve here. Starting things off with an Undergrowth Leopard into Champion of Dusan for Michael Hron.
Missed the land drop here for
Owie.
Joseph. That is not ideal here. Let's see if Hron can capitalize on the missed land drop here.
And I believe we saw one of the dragons that makes the 2/2.
Yeah, and that's the thing, though. If you're 2 lands on the draw, you basically always keep those.
Yeah.
And if you don't get there, well, that is part of the game. That does happen.
Sometimes you just get unlucky. Would you like some lands off the top of your deck? Good grief.
Well, you know what? I think I'd be happy about this. That means you're not drawing those lands.
Yeah.
So.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. Of course, it's always nice to spike a random renew creature into the graveyard. That's always extra value.
Man, I'm always so hesitant to mill myself.
Oh, sure.
Ugh.
If you have a good card in your deck or something like that.
If I run recursion and it's like, no, my bomb.
Yeah. But, of course, it's random. And if you just look at the power of the Wayfarer just in a vacuum, it's really strong.
Yeah.
A 2-drop that gets you a land is so powerful.
I mean, any card that brings you a card is pretty good and limited.
Wait, didn't
just
Joseph have an Osseous Exile in hand? Maybe not. I thought he did.
Oh, Carsey Revenant. Sick. All right, that's a big 3/3. I bet Michael would love to kill.
Well, maybe it's. I thought it was an Osseous Exile. Maybe I was wrong.
Probably coordinated
maneuver. They do look similar.
They do.
But Carsey Revenant is huge. Does Hron have the removal spell for this one? 3/3 Flying Death Touch Lifelink. This thing is just so strong. Hron can still attack with Champion of Dusan here, but if he had maybe a clean way to answer it, that would be preferable.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know about that Piercing Exhale then in this situation.
Right.
I know he wanted to get in there, but oof.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, though. When your opponents miss their land drops, you want to be a little more aggressive to just prevent them from coming back. Because if your opponent rattles off 2-3 lands in a row, you know they're going to have all gas for the rest of the game. So you tend to make slightly more aggressive plays.
Yeah. A lot of people that I have spoken to at least say it's better to be screwed than be flooded. Because eventually when you unlock your hand, it's all gas.
Yeah. And then, of course, it's best to just have the right mix of lands and spells and never have to worry.
Yeah, never have the wrong draw ever.
Right. And Joseph was able to rattle off 2 lands in a row, so that's really big. And given that Hron wasn't able to kill the Revenant, that's also really big.
Yeah. It's a great way for him to stabilize and get back into things.
Okay, and look.
Nice. Formation Breaker, Sultai Diva 2.
He's got a really, really nice board here.
Yeah. So caught up quite well. Carsey Revenant, no attacks just yet. Turn passes back now to Michael Hron.
Yeah, Hron has reasonable attacks with the champion. The interesting thing is if you attack with the Dragonback Lancer, Joseph can just block the token.
Yeah,
and then you just gain the 3 life back. So I don't even know if it's necessarily a great attack.
I mean, yeah, there's no, yeah.
Right.
Net effect is 0.
Exactly.
Except you have a tapped creature now.
Yeah.
So we could just see these two stare at each other in the skies for a little bit.
Yeah, very, very possible. Now, we did mention that Joseph does have that coordinated maneuver in hand, which would be a nice, clean way to answer the Lancer.
That rhymed.
I didn't think about that, but you are correct. And now the Champion of Dusan, the attack just doesn't look as nice because you're kind of trading it with a 2-mana creature, right? So it's not as ideal, although you do still have the ability. If you don't have that much action in your hand, you can still just be okay with making a trade here and then putting the counter elsewhere.
Yeah.
You know, putting it on the Leopard doesn't seem like it would be too bad.
I'm just trying to see what Joseph has in hand there. He's got one alternate art card I can't recognize. I think he's got a pack beast maybe? And then the coordinated maneuver.
Yeah, which would make it so that he's less incentivized to just, oh, wow. Less incentivized to go to make any trades with the pack beast. So that Warden is most likely going to die to the maneuver,
Safe.
right? So Warden is not safe.
Stay alive. Stay alive.
Yeah, so Warden's instantly going to die.
Boo.
Now, the awkward part here for Joseph is if that's the only play you have this turn, it's not ideal.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you really just can't get the It's
need
really
that
tough to
off
get the Warden going, so.
Yeah. So coordinated maneuver.
That cost 3 mana?
It's 2,
I thought it was 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
Okay.
oh, did he tap accidentally?
1 mana floating? I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Yep. But you kind of have to do what you have to do, right?
Yeah.
You cannot let the Warden get going. But if Joseph's turn was kill your creature, Mike's turn was creature plus equipment here, right?
Yeah.
So that is in favor of Hron. So now Hron can potentially be looking to make a more aggressive attack here because with the equipment, he can now at least get the card back.
Plus 3/0 on the champion.
Yeah, if 3 creatures attack, you get to draw a card as well.
Yeah.
Reputable Merchant here, putting a counter. Maybe you put it on the Leopard.
The flyer? The flyer would be cool.
Well, the flyer you just trade it with the Revenant, right?
Well,
like
the Revenant. Touch?
Yeah, the Revenant.
Right.
The Revenant has all the keywords.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keyword soup. Ah, all right. Gonna put in the little guy.
Sure, because that's a totally fine trade here. Yeah, this makes sense. Now the Leopard won't be attacking here, given this.
So Wayfarer, Lancer,
Mobilize, draw a card.
Yeah.
All good stuff. Remember, and Joseph's also down to 11.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine maybe the Revenant gets... You can either just have that block the token, get that off the battlefield, and then the Death Toucher will probably go in front of the Champion of Doosan.
Mm-hmm.
You do take a good amount of trample damage here, too, as well, though.
Yeah, because it's, 5 power now?
Yeah, so that's something that you also need to consider.
So 4 goes through, gains 3.
Now, he doesn't have anything with a counter on it either. You could block the Einok if you want, just to take 4 less. It's +3/+0, right? So that is 4 damage that you get to save. So
I would be okay with that.
Okay, so he's taking 4, 7 plus 4 trample, 11, and then gaining 3, so that's 8 damage. And then so Joseph would go down to 3, I believe. Yeah, 11 minus 3, 8 damage. Yeah, 11 minus, so. Net result, Joseph will have Formation Breaker in play at 3 life, and Hron will just have a million creatures in play. So unless Joseph can play like a sweeper or something, it's going to be really tough to be able to come back. Oh, excuse me, the Revenant still lives. Sure. Yeah.
If he has a way to buff that up, I wonder if he has anything that can pump it up in the deck.
Yeah, but still at 3 life here. Now Joseph does have a handful of options here. You could play the Pack Beast here. Draws a card. Can kind of block everything. The Revenant still blocks and gains you a bunch of life. Yes. But the Champion of Doosan also in the graveyard. So +1 trample, and possibly even more importantly, the trample can be pretty nice.
That is a Gold Saga.
Is this the same thing that Hron has?
Could be.
Is this the one that makes 3/1/1s?
Revival of the Ancestors, yeah.
Yeah, so they both are Abzan, and they both have Revival of the Ancestors. That's really funny.
Nice.
Oh, and it does a really, really good job at helping stabilize this board. So, wow, that was big. Karsi Revenant and Revival of the Ancestors. Now, Hron does have the Leopard here. You can kill the enchantment.
You might want to, because that second chapter, giving 3 counters to this big bird.
Yeah, certainly more valuable than the Leopard here, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, you can maybe wait till your turn. If you are still interested in attacking with 3 things, you do that, you trigger the card draw, and then you can sack the Leopard if it gets blocked by something big.
Yeah. If it gets blocked by the Revenant, prevent the life gain.
Yeah.
Die.
Yeah, so I don't imagine that that's going to happen. I would guess that Joseph will block still probably the Mobilize token if that's what attacks. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he is at 3 life. But plenty of blockers here now. You'll draw the card. Wait, does the Formation Breaker count as... Wait, does the Saga count as a counter?
I think it needs the counter on a thing.
On a
if I'm not
creature?
mistaken.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's a 2-1 or a 3-3. It doesn't matter. Hron's just going to sack this to kill the Saga anyways.
Yeah, it's a creature with a counter on it.
Got it. Probably 2 counters on the Merchant.
Oh, hey, with the Storm Beacon Blade, you don't actually need to attack with 3 creatures. You can have 2
You can
with
trigger
Immobilize,
with Mobilize, but the Leopard is a free attack anyways.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I was just curious if you needed 3 attacking.
No. It's intentionally
Declared attackers,
designed that way so that it works well with Mardu.
Yeah,
That equipment typically is something that you like in a Mardu deck, not as much in an Abzan deck, but it's still fine if you have lots of little ways to make tokens.
Okay. So we get a trade there on the birds, the flyers, and a Fenza.
Oh my gosh!
Oh.
So that's at least 2 creatures dying. So that's Endure 2 twice, and then you can also sack the Leopard.
Yeah.
If you want. Although if there's no creatures left, do you have to sack the Leopard, right? Because
if they're all dying,
are all the creatures dying? Well, I guess just doesn't want to deal with that anyways. Sure.
Yeah.
But you still get to Endure 2.
Yeah. That's nuts.
Oh my gosh! This is there's 3 creatures dying, right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
How many spritz would you like, Hron?
Yeah.
So that's the first death, and then go to actual damage.
Yep.
Tradesies.
And Joe will gain 3 life here, go to 6.
Yeah.
Wow, this Anafenza was insane.
Yeah, 3 other deaths actually. Well, but the non-tokens
don't count. Yeah. So the Dragonback Lancer and the Reputable Merchant will die. And so you will, Hron will now have the option to. I think you just go wide. There's just too many creatures, unless Joseph has some way to gain a bunch of life. Now, the Revenant does have Renew, so he can put that on the 2-drop in play right now, and that would turn it into another 3/3 flying lifelinker. So that'll help in some way, but this still might be too much. This is 10 power in play with the blade, which is an additional 3, so that's 13.
Rough.
I will say Joe definitely fighting the good fight here.
Doing his best, but goddamn.
Yeah,
Michael's got no chill.
Yeah, that Anafenza was incredible.
I'm glad her card is good.
Anafenza?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that's a really sweet card.
Well, the Anafenza in the previous con set was also awesome.
Nice.
So.
Alrighty. Joseph does not have an answer to this incredibly wide board that Michael assembled, so players are going to consult their sideboards and get into game number 2 here. These are 2 undefeated players. One of them is going to leave here as the only undefeated player in Magic Spotlight Dragons. There's so much on the line here this weekend, everyone. And we are lucky to have plenty of events coming up later this year. Indianapolis being one of the stops that we are making, so be sure to join us for SCG-Con Minneapolis, May 30th to June 1st. Indianapolis. May 30th to June 1st, it is the Spotlight Series Secret Lair. It's going to be sweet. And there's some cool stuff that we know about, we can't tell you about, so you should just come and join us and then see what it's all about, because it's cool.
I don't know about it either.
You don't know about it either, yeah.
Look at you, just flexing that you know stuff.
I know stuff. I know things. That's what I do.
Yeah. All right, so here, the silver lining for Joseph there is you missed the land drop. You were kind of behind the entire way, but you still made a solid game of it, and you have a lot of great rares yourself, right? You have the Revenant, and you have the Saga. So, like this can still easily go the other direction here. Now, here's a really interesting thing. In the matchup, Hron has a bunch of Sultai devotees, but they line up very, very poorly against that Abzan Saga, right? Because it makes 3 1/1 tokens. So I wonder if there might be some considerations to board out maybe one at least of your 1 toughness creatures, just to make sure that, if Joseph gets that in play, you just don't have the ability to actually attack.
pretty. If Joseph is able to draw, you know, the better cards in the deck to be able to match what Michael's doing, this could be a incredibly grindy matchup.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a ton of just solid rares. There's also a Hollow Merc Siege that we haven't seen, which is also fantastic. You, especially on the play, you get that going. Turn 2 Hollow Siege, turn 3 or Karsi Revenant, right? Can you imagine just Menace, Lifelink, Death Toucher with +1/+1 counters on it? So, yeah, lots of powerful stuff here from both sides, of course.
Yeah. Disruptive Stormbrood, that's one of my favorite uncommons in the set, I think.
Yeah, it's a good card.
Yeah, kill a thing and then enters, kills a thing. Hell yeah. So what do you prefer, enters or enters the battlefield?
I guess enters just makes sense. It just lets, given how many words are on cards these days, like enters is a nice way to save, what, 12 letters or whatever it is? Yeah.
I think I start shorthanding things soon.
All right, no mana issues, at least color-wise for Joseph here with this start.
Yeah. Got some decent-looking cards in hand, just from the glimpse we got as he riffles through them.
No 2-drop here for Hron. What can Joe play on turn 3? Oh,
Stalwart Successor.
Stalwart Successor. This card is excellent in the Abzan decks because it's all about putting a bunch of +1/+1 counters on things. And when you have that thing in play, all of a sudden you can really go nuts.
Yeah, I bet Michael wishes he had that in his deck.
Oh, yeah. He passed one earlier,
he did, yeah.
But I don't know that he knew that this was the type of deck that he was going to end up with at the time.
I think he was still thinking Sultai at that point.
Right. He did take a monument, the Sultai monument. So
Champion of Dusan. Seems to be a super reliable 3-drop here for Michael. I think we've seen it in every game so far.
Absolutely. I think he's got a couple in the deck. Now, the Stalwart Successor can get a nice free attack in here. It's got Menace. Probably don't want to trade that one with the Champion of Dusan in general.
Feral Deathgorger. Nice.
2 +1/+1 counters, and
you
get to draw a card. So shuffle that dragon back in, and all of a sudden, turn 4, we're looking at a 5/4 Menace creature.
Jeez.
That for 2 mana, if you get that extra counter, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
2 +1/+1 counters and a card.
That's a bargain.
Yeah, it sure is. Now, can Joseph also have another play here? That would be great. Yep.
Nice.
And more shuffling here.
Yeah.
Get a 2/2 in play. Get that dragon back in.
Riling Dawnbreaker, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Signaling Rar. The Omen.
Just a 2/2 token here, but a nice blocker to get in the way of the Champion of Dusan.
All these high-power trample bros, they all skip leg day.
Oh, yeah, their toughness not ideal.
No. Oh, we have the Saga in hand here from Michael.
Yeah, I mean, Saga's always just nice to run out as quickly as you can. But it looks like playing a little bit defensively here, just doesn't want to let that creature get out of hand.
Yeah.
And just minimize the damage that you take.
Stormplane Detainment takes care of the Stalwart Successor, so just the 2/2 on the board now for Joseph.
Now, Joseph isn't really down a ton of cards on that exchange because, of course, the counters he put on that thing was effectively free.
Yeah.
And that is an aggressive attack with the 2/2.
Oh, nice.
Oh, the kill it enchantment mode.
Gimme back my
cards. Oh, and then we're gonna endure, put a counter.
Damn.
Now that's a 3 mana 4/3 lifelinker, which is also just a really nice rate given the successor in play.
Yeah. Sick. That was an awesome turn for Joseph. You hate to see it as Michael Hron, but great turn there.
At least the maneuver was used on the Detainment and not the Saga.
Yeah. Yeah, that Saga is pretty busted when it gets going. If you're able to keep your board, that is.
Yeah.
Because, like at the previous game, Michael could have just left it, and Joseph wouldn't have gotten much value out of it anyway. Right. Piercing Exhale into the Undergrowth Leopard. Just
trying to control the board here, just not let Joseph kind of run away with this game here. Yeah. Champion of Dusan being leaned on heavily here for some defense. Ooh, Trade Route Envoy.
Hey, Dougie.
And we got a counters, so you get the card. So this is exactly the type of deck where you want to play this creature, the Abzan counters deck.
It's decent sized body.
Are you interested in a trade here? Oh, yeah. We are getting aggressive.
Okay.
Champion definitely getting in front of the lifelinker. Do we want to put the leopard in front of the token as well? Hron is at 14 here.
Yeah. Going to 12 doesn't seem too bad.
Yeah, and we did see some enchantments, but looks like he just wants to just keep that life total high.
Yep. Preserving life total as much as possible. The board clear now, barring the Envoy and Formation Breaker. Hits the board too. This Formation Breaker is really, really good if you're able to buff it.
Yeah.
Because most things in the set can't block it.
Yeah, I played against one that that was an 8/8 flyer.
Yeah.
And we had some flyers, and we're like, oh, whatever, we'll double block it. And then that line of text where you can't actually get blocked, we're like, oh, never mind. It's just an 8/8 unblockable flyer. Yeah.
And it doesn't care about other creatures having counters. If it has a counter, it gets the buff. So
right.
It's real cool. Is it Saga time? Do we have the mana for it? No.
Well, the issue.
We need Swamper.
Yeah, we do need the mana. The issue with the Saga 2, though, is it doesn't really block all that well. So you're going to be kind of forced to take a bunch of damage still. If you had the mana, you might still just play it out, though. Ooh, wow, the Loxodon Battle Priest. Oh. That's going to turn on the Beetle here as well.
It's a beetle?
Oh, wait, I thought it's a beetle. Maybe it's not a beetle.
Isn't it a human?
Oh, sorry. It looks like a beetle.
Oh, okay. All right, I get the tortoise, you get the beetle.
All right. Not a beetle. Formation Breaker. Excuse me. So this is a 4/4 that can't be blocked. And this is a lot of pressure now here because Hron has been stuck on 4 lands and doesn't have the ability to even play the Saga. Now needs an answer for the Formation Breaker. Oof. It's not even close to a beetle. It looks like it's got the armor. It kind of looks like a beetle.
The beast is a Formation Breaker, right? Not the human on top of him. All right. Yeah, it could be like a dung beetle.
Yeah.
Sure. Guess it's like an elephant or something. I don't
know.
So
that is a 4/3. But look, if you put another counter on the Formation Breaker,
yeah, you just have
that's still unblockable. That's still unblockable, and that's a 2-turn clock here for Joseph.
And the 4/3 is no joke either. So, Sage of the Fang.
Oh, Sage of the Fang too. Okay.
Counters.
Yeah, so that's a 5/4. The Pack Beast can still block that though, so I don't know if you want to attack with it.
Probably not.
It doesn't seem like a great trade. I think just attack with. Oh, we're getting very aggressive. I wonder if Joseph also has a combat trick in hand.
Could do.
Yeah, no, this is a really nice attack. The Pack Beast probably just goes in front of the Hunter there. Oh, and chump blocking there too, and he's just taking 5. Wow.
The elephant got in there too?
Yeah, the elephant got in there too, and Hron's down to 4. This is probably going to be the game here. And Hron just drew all of his forests. Can't even play the Saga.
Oof, that's rough. All right, so both players certainly delivering the beats in their respective turns on the play.
And it looks like Joseph's deck is a little more synergistic. It's got a few more kind of payoffs for having +1/+1 counters, multiple copies of Trade Route Envoy, the Formation Breaker, the Stalwart Successor. So just lots of cards that work really well with the +1/+1 counters.
Let's take a look at Joseph's list and see just exactly what it is he's running in the main deck configuration. So that's some oh yeah, Disruptive Stormbreed, Siege. That's a lot of good gold cards.
Yeah, this kind of just looks like a slightly more powerful version of Hron's deck. We have the Karsi Revenant, Hollow Merc Siege. They both have Revival of the Ancestors, so that's tied. But Stalwart Successor as a really great way to just put tons of +1/+1 counters all over the place, and there's just a lot of ways to do that here. Solid mana fixing, and I do love the Pack Beast. Double Pack Beast, double Trade Route Envoy. Both of them are going to consistently replace themselves, which in this type of mid-range grindy matchup is really, really important. So, yeah, solid deck here from Joseph, and that Coordinated Maneuver also doing some work because Hron does have a couple of really good enchantments to actually target with that card. If Hron has a maneuver in somewhere in his pool, he should probably also consider bringing it in as well.
Don't know if he picked any of them.
Oh, he doesn't have one because it'd be a really nice answer to the Hollow Merc Siege or the Revival of the Ancestors. Oh, and Stormplane Detainment. So
he's going to be relying on that Undergrowth Leopard. Let's take a look quickly at Michael's deck and see what he's working with here. So in the main deck, just the Undergrowth Leopard to deal with enchantments. But he does have the Stormplane Detainment. to answer another enchantment too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So-
he's going to be leaning pretty heavily. Hron's got his own fair share of great rares,
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
You got the Warden of the Grove. We saw how powerful the Anafenza can
Yeah.
be, and he's also got his own copy of Revival of the Ancestors. So a lot of it will just kind of
Yeah.
come down to, hey, it's
Who
like,
draws it?
yeah, who draws the rares and who doesn't stumble on mana. And also being on the play does give you a couple percentage edge as well.
For sure. Players are underway here, kicking things off with Scoured Barrens. Tap land a piece for each player. Come on, where are those 2-drops, Michael?
Not in hand, apparently.
Wow. Okay. I hope the rest of the hand is gas then.
We would hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Joseph just fetching a forest. Quick cut of the deck there from Michael.
Joseph has 1 million devotees in his list.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's
so
3. Between the two of them, there are 5 Sultai devotees.
There's 5. Many were opened.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Death Touch is pretty good. Hey, okay. Get that Tomb Guard.
Now,
2/3 menace.
yeah, if Hron has a reputable merchant next
Ooh,
turn,
Holomerk Siege.
that would be very, very nice for him
Yeah.
on his side.
That would be so sick. That's a disruptive Stormbird in hand. Oh, I would be so tempted to kill that right now.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably a good idea. I don't know if Holomerk Siege is what you want to do right now. Also, it's possible you want to just use it as a card draw effect. I'm not
Yeah.
sure, just because Joseph has a lot of ways to put counters on things. But
Yeah,
I
he
feel like right now it's probably better just to kill the creature. Yeah.
Disruptive Stormbird taking care of the Tomb Guard to ensure Michael doesn't draw any more cards. And like you said, yeah, Joseph has a bunch of ways to put counters on things. A lot of times you'll get Holomerk Siege and you just won't have any of like the merchants or
Right.
the Loxodons. So you're relying on the menace and the counter to get things done.
Yes, definitely. Right, dragging
Teaming
back.
Dragonstorm, nice.
Yeah, just a nice little way to go wide. I don't know how many dragons are actually in Joseph's deck. It didn't seem like there were too
I
many.
don't think he has any, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got the Feral Death Gorger.
Sure.
Oh, wait, and the Disruptive Stormbird. That's
Yeah.
also Dragon, right?
Yeah, it doesn't take much. If you have like
Yeah.
2 dragons in your deck, you're just always playing this card.
Yeah.
This card was really impressive yesterday.
It was awesome yesterday. I think, yeah, the only Dragonstorm that's not like...
The black one is not particularly strong. Corroding Dragonstorm.
It's fun in the Sultai build, just because of the Surveil.
Yeah, it's okay, but the thing is, it's just like, you need to probably play it at least twice to feel
Yeah.
like you're getting some value out of it. Whereas I feel like a lot of the other Dragonstorms, they're just good enough to play at face value.
Yeah.
Whereas Corroding Dragonstorm, you're never playing a 2-mana card that drains your opponent for 2 and surveils 2, right? That's just not a card you put into your deck. But
Yeah.
Roiling Dragonstorm, the Ramp 1, Teaming Dragonstorm, they're all just totally fine cards that you can play.
Yeah. Whale of
Ooh,
War.
Oh, okay. Not bad.
Nice. Cool. Gets
Okay.
rid of 2 critters, follows up with the Sultai Devotee, so now the board looks a lot better on Michael's side of things.
Yeah. Still not too bad here for Joe. Just happy to attack, and there's not a ton of pressure here, just a flyer.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably has some good follow-ups here.
It's good, honest magic, attacking with a vanilla tutu.
Yeah.
Another Gainland. I've actually been quite impressed with how impactful these Gainlands have been.
Oh, yeah, they're great, especially in this type of format. Everybody wants to play 3 colors, so everybody needs to play these tap lands.
Yeah.
And the choice of going with game lands, I think, was a really, really good one,
Yeah.
just because it does mean that if you're stumbling a little bit, so the game lands just give you a little bit of that time back.
Yeah. Slight reprieve offered. Here's the Trade Route Envoy, hits the board, gets a counter.
Yep. That Sultai Devotee on Hron's side is reserved to block that
Yeah.
5/4.
And as it
Ooh,
stands,
piercing exhale, though. Ooh, okay, that's excellent.
Nice.
Now you can just get in for 6.
Hell yeah. So
And
Michael has control of the skies. Joseph needs a flying blocker pretty
Okay.
quick, otherwise
Yeah.
this game's gonna get out of hand.
Yeah, access to 5 mana now. Oh, drew it,
Hey,
drew it
nice.
again. Drew it again. That will happen.
What a good dragon. It's got
Yeah.
excellent recall.
Yeah, honestly, Joseph could have even considered playing it.
Yeah, because
right? And then you can pick up your Dragon Storm.
you could, but then you don't blow anything up. Value, Paul, value.
Well, how is it value? It's the same thing. You have a 3/3 flyer in play, and then you pick up your Dragon Storm, and then you can still trade with the Lancer, right?
Yeah, fine.
That's the value play.
I mean, fair, but
Yeah.
you missed out on his Enter's effect because he's got one of those too.
Sure. I mean, you don't have to do it, but I don't mind. I don't mind using it to kill the flyer because Hron can have any number of combat tricks or removal spells to get it out of the way, and especially with the siege, you just think that's going to be your path to victory. So that seems like a totally fine line to go with. Okay. Yeah, Hron just kind of an average draw here, just a bunch of commons, but putting pressure. Joe is at 9. Okay, Battle Priest, sure.
That's pretty big.
Counter. Another counter. That's 5 damage.
Yep. That's a good race now.
Hron is representing 8 damage here, and Joseph is at 9. Okay, this is close.
That's very close. Got any lifelink? Got removal?
Yeah, removal would be amazing because if you kill the Battle Priest, the token can only hit you for 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Merchant and 2 lands.
Yeah, finding a champion would have been really cool.
Yeah. Getting some extra power on the board.
Yeah, but if you can't find something, you can still attack with Death Touch creatures. And Hron actually choosing to not return a land at this point, just valuing the stats here instead and putting the counter on the Wayfarer.
Just one critter gets menace, whichever gets the counter from the...
Right. So Hron can just attack with maybe 1 devotee.
Yeah.
You could do that and keep 1 back just to make sure that it can kill the token. Yeah. You like double block with devotee plus the Wayfarer maybe. Mm-hmm. That is certainly something that you can consider. No attacks is also an option.
Mm-hmm. Just hanging out in case things
die. No matter what happens, the token will at least eat 2 things.
Yeah.
Attack with 1.
Will. Down to 7. 7 apiece. Life totals are tied.
Ooh, that was a land here for Joseph. And the Battle Priest, remember, it can't target itself. It can only target other creatures. All right. We are...
enormous. Also, it doesn't have to attack. It can just hang out.
It can just hang out.
Do you want the 2-fer, or do you want to keep growing your buddy?
Yeah.
Does he have a champion?
You know, in hindsight, and this is just a hindsight thing, man, had he played the dragon, it would have been so much better for him.
Oh, yeah.
Because it would have traded with the 3/3 flyer, and he would have had 2 more 2/2s to block with.
Mm-hmm. But, you know, this dragon's come back once.
He can also just draw it again, right?
Could,
yeah. All right, forcing the action here. Hron's at 7, forced to double block here. Devotee plus Wayfarer likely is the block here. It's got Menace, so yeah. You could consider blocking with the champion if you want to give trample counter, but yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Yep. Okay.
Nice. Okay. Problem solved for the time being.
For the time being. Now, can Hron find something?
Let's hope so. In terms of board states, Joseph has a superior board state with 2 counter givers just hanging out there. Death Toucher's doing a decent job of blocking, and the 4/2, that's fine.
All right, aggressive attack. Remember, Hron cannot block the Battle Priest unless he plays another creature because the Siege gives Menace. But remember, the Battle Priest can't block itself. Okay.
Hey, monkey.
So that's a 4/6 Menace creature. You can still double block in trade. Can Joseph find a way to clear the path here? If you can kill the champion or the assistant.
Oh, yeah, assistant.
Then, and nothing. Wow, okay.
Alrighty.
2 lands in a row here. Really, really bad time
Is he top
to get a little flooded here. It does seem that way.
Okay.
Now Hron going, okay, you're at 5. If you attack with everything, that's not lethal. You can get Joseph down to 1. The Devotee is still a pretty good attack. It worked last turn. You can certainly do it again. Oh! Make the obvious block. What do you have?
And a Fenza. Nice.
Yep. And you're going to make another token here?
Got blockers, you got damage, you got some life off of the apprentice.
Joe down to 1 life here. I don't think he can. It's going to be really tough here to come back from this board.
Damage, yeah.
No life gain.
That's going to do it. Michael Hron remains undefeated in Magic Spotlight Dragons. How sick.